You've heard all this, you as a human being. Why don't you change? What prevents you? If each one of us asks that question, not verbally or merely intellectually as an entertainment, but ask that question most seriously and deeply, what's your answer? What's your answer to this problem that human beings have lived this way for millennia upon millennia? Why haven't they changed? Why haven't you, who are listening now, why haven't you changed? You know, if you don't change, what the consequences are. You'll be nationalistic, you'll be tribal, insular, isolated, and therefore having no relationship globally, fighting, building up more and more armaments, destroy each other.
I'm just trying to win and get elected. I'm trying to change the course of history. And our history in this country hasn't been good for the last 100 years, whether it's our drift into managing empire, destruction of our currency, the deficits that have been run up, the climax of the dollar reserve standard. This is big stuff. And because they don't have any idea about the significance of the monetary system and what's going on with the Federal Reserve. But the people, grassroots America, is starting to wake up. Millions of people are reading about the Federal Reserve and understanding how they bail out their friends, create trillions of dollars, give a third of all that money that they used in the bailout and give it to foreign banks. People are realizing this, even though the media, generally speaking, they don't understand it, they don't ask me the right questions, and if they do understand it, they don't want to get the secret out on how the system that we have protects the special interests.
Change means nothing, it's just the word, and it's a cliche. It just to repeat it has no meaning. You have to say, what are you going to change? And I would argue, you offer no change. You have the same foreign policy. You want more troops in Afghanistan. You're not talking about only going to war with a declaration. You don't want to deal with the monetary, financial crisis in this country. You want to keep, the system together for the benefit of the banks and the big corporations and the politicians, that argument. And what kind of change do you have on social policy? Hard on the fact that he doesn't want change, he wants the status quo. And just saying it means nothing. If you want change, what you need is somebody that's going to make sure you're never going to have a draft, and we're going to bring our troops home, we're going to balance the budget, we're going to have sound money. He never talks about any of that. He probably doesn't have real solid beliefs. He will be converted when we convert his young people. That's what we're converting. The politicians in Washington don't have much philosophy, probably never will, but that's all right. That's why we have a chance by converting people's hearts and minds, and that's where we've made our progress.
serious in this matter, why don't you ask yourself that question? Why am I, a human being, who have been through all this, why haven't I changed? What would be your answer? Either you are not serious, you want to live a very, very superficial life, and that superficiality temporarily satisfies you, or you really don't care. As long as you have immediate pleasures, immediate satisfactions, you really don't care. You don't care for your children if they are murdered. If you really have no deep love, affection for them, if you had, you would prevent all wars. So apparently, none of these things mean anything to you. Or probably you are so deeply conditioned psychologically. Of course, we are biologically conditioned, that's a different matter altogether. But psychologically conditioned, and one is not aware of it. And you can, unless that there is freedom from that conditioning, you will go on this way. After all, life is one. One global unitary movement. So, in the same way, our consciousness is common to all mankind. Now, if I radically change, surely it affects the rest of the consciousness of man. Now, why don't you change?
Despite all the naysayers who are predicting failure, our economy is growing again. No more manufactured crises, no more games. We are headed in the right direction. I love these folks who say, well, this is Obama's economy. That's fine. Give it to me.
0 jobs. Not a single job being added.
No jobs created. Zip, zero.
People are demoralized. What has happened? Zero new jobs.
Change has come to America.
President zero.
1 in 6 Americans are living in poverty.
That's 1 in 6 Americans.
At an all-time low.
46.2 million
We're
people.
pointed in the right direction.
Headed in the wrong direction.
Change direction here.
I'm just getting started.
You get the sense that the country is desperate for someone to show us the way. Not the old way, not the same way, but a new
Ron
way.
Paul is by far the leading recipient of cash from current members of the military.
Protect our freedoms, have a strong national defense, look and take care of our borders, have a sound currency.
You will see the consequence of the inflation that we have today. In a couple years, you will see the recession, if not the depression.
Millions of tax dollars are spent on this type of computer surveillance, a disgusting procedure for a professed free society.
And we believe the role of government ought to be for the preservation of liberty.
Being patriotic and being American and being pro-constitutional might mean that you don't have to go and become a police state.
I mean, we're very confident that the message of liberty is what the Americans want to hear. I think it's another example of a flawed foreign policy that we have followed for a good many decades.
It now finds its way into the rapidly expanding real estate bubble.
But the fact that we owe this to Afghanistan, you know what we owe? We owe a responsibility to the American taxpayer.
Our new relationship with Gaddafi in Libya is an example of the silliness of this policy. That is the reason that the dollar becomes less valuable, because we just print too many to accommodate.
We don't go to war like we did in Vietnam and Korea because the wars never end.
If you understand liberty and realize it's the only humanitarian system, once again, able to say that I am a candidate for the presidency in the Republican Party primary.
Trying to win and get elected. I'm trying to change the course of history.